Your name, your address, and your phone number are floating around the internet. Easy for strangers, scammers, and companies you've never heard of to find. Data brokers and shady databases collect and sell your private details to anyone willing to pay, putting you at risk of nonstop spam, scams, and fraud. You can't stop them from collecting data, but you can control who gets to keep it. That's why I use Incogni. They remove your private information from more than 420 of these sites automatically. And with their unlimited plan, you get total coverage. If you spot your personal details anywhere else online, just send them the link, and their privacy experts will get it taken down. It's the easiest, most complete way to protect yourself and personal life. Right now, you can lock in 60% off with my exclusive deal at privacykim.com. Go to privacykim.com right now and start protecting your privacy. This is so important. Privacykim.com. That's privacykim.com.
Welcome to the Kim Komando Show podcast for the weekend of November 2nd, 2024. Thank you for listening to the Kim Komando Show. Here's hour one.
We're going to Mars. That's right. I'm talking about Elon Musk. He wants to get humans living on Mars. He says about 1 million people living there by the year 2050. But there are some problems. Well, like number one, I don't know if you've thought about this, but once you get people to Mars, how are they going to populate the planet? Because, Mars is not exactly built for baby making. The reasons why is that it has no protective atmosphere like Earth, which means high radiation levels. Plus, the gravity on Mars is only 38% of planet Earth, which is going to mess up with things like embryo development and, of course, letting those little swimmers make a splash. And on that happy note, welcome, ladies and gentlemen. It is the nation's largest, best, most trusted source for all things digital. I'm, of course, Kim Komando, your beloved digital goddess, here with you once again. And let me tell you, you better put on your thinking cap, because you're about ready to get more tech smarts, because every single thing is a tech thing now. I know. And if you're not tech ahead, you will be left tech behind in the digital dust. Now, of course, you can find my award-winning show on over 420 top stations across the United States. We are streaming in your favorite radio app. Just search for my last name, Komando, with a K, of course. And you can also find the Kim Komando Show now as a podcast. Yes, that's right. Wherever you get your podcasts. Just search for Komando with a K, of course. And a big hello and salute goes out to all of our listeners on the American Forces Network Radio, reaching over 375,000 U.S. service members in 175 countries. And I love this. 200 ships at sea get the Kim Komando Show. And as we are doing the show, I'm going to be passing along some great promo codes and some web addresses, and you might be sitting there going like, oh, I wish I could write that down, or what is that address? Well, to make things simple, you just have to go to one spot, komando.com/sponsors. That's komando.com/sponsors. Now, I know that you have at least 1 to 12 things about something digital in your life that you would like my trusted advice. And that's why our T-Mobile Unlimited listener line is now open at 1-888-825-5254. And let me tell you, T-Mobile's advanced 5G network now goes farther than ever before. You can learn more right now by visiting T-Mobile.com/55 today. All right, then every single day I go to at least 35, sometimes 45 different sources to make sure that you and I are both up to date with what's going on in the techverse world. And here are 5 things you need to know that are happening right now. And we're going to start with number 1. This is something that I predicted 2 years ago. And I will tell you that when I did it, I had certain people laugh right in my face. Like, oh my gosh, Kim Komando, you are losing it. You have no idea what you're talking about. I predicted that Google would be going under. And yes, guess what's happening? Google's dead. It was given a dagger. Now, this has big repercussions. Anybody who has a website, you work in web development, you need to listen to this, because OpenAI launched a new search tool inside ChatGPT that lets you ask questions and you can get real-time info off the web, sports scores, stock updates, news headlines. It's just like as if you were going to Google, but you are going to get the correct answers without any ads, with no scrolling. Totally knocks the wind out of Google. I don't know what the future holds for that Alphabet company, but it seems like they're going to have to learn how to spell revenues without a G. Moving on to number 2, with less than a week before the election, Donald Trump was a 3-hour guest on America's most popular podcast. No, not mine. Talking about the Joe Rogan Experience. Over 30 million watched or listened, but millions could not. Why? Well, YouTube actually admits that millions who searched for the Rogan podcast got nothing. It was also absent from YouTube's trending videos the following day. So Congressman, a guy by the name of Jim Jordan, a Republican from Ohio, who also just happens to be the chairman of the House Judiciary Committee that oversees all the judges and courts, of course, has summons Google Alphabet big chief Sundar Pichai to go under oath and tell the world why. What's going on? With big tech's track record of censoring conservative views, I can't wait to hear what he has to say for it. By the way, the podcast is a much watch, must listen, no matter what your political stance is. Moving on to number 3. Wow, this is really something. A French newspaper by the name of Le Monde discovered the movements, the hidden movements of President Biden, Kamala Harris, Donald Trump, Emmanuel Macron, and even Vladimir Putin by following their public profiles of the bodyguards using the app Strava. What? Yes, Strava is more like a social media app instead of a fitness app. And so you can kind of pretend that you are like running 5 miles a day by paying somebody on Fiverr, or you can actually run 5 miles a day and then share it out with everybody who is also on Strava. Now, the Secret Service claims that it hasn't compromised anyone's safety, but meanwhile, it got pretty precise. Journalists identified Biden's hotels, tracked Macron's private weekend to Normandy, and followed Trump's whereabouts right after 2 assassination attempts. So if you are on Strava, do yourself a favor, make sure you turn on those privacy settings. And if you're listening to us in the DC area and you work for the Secret Service, how come you didn't know about this until now? I actually been worrying about this for probably 5-6 years. Moving on to number 4, 400,000. I want you to remember that number. It's a big number. It's the number of products that the U.S. Consumer Product Safety Commission found for sale on Amazon that could kill you. Yes, or injure you. Many of these products have been recalled by the manufacturer. Now, even though by federal law, Amazon is required to, it hasn't really notified all the buyers. So what's on the list? Faulty carbon monoxide detectors, poorly manufactured hair dryers, kids' pajamas that will go on fire. So the bottom line here is head into your Amazon account and take a look at that Amazon's recall page. And finally, this coming in at number 5, they are watching you. Talking about the line cutters at the airport when you're sitting there at the gate. So America Airlines, they said, we have had enough. And they're rolling out a tricked out system to catch everybody in the act. They're testing in Albuquerque, Tucson, DC National to keep people honest at the gate. So let's try to scan your Group 8 boarding pass early, hoping to sneak in with Group 1, those first class passengers. That's when this red alert goes off. And an audio alert will actually just stop you right in your tracks. They say this is like powerful technology. And just like that, you are sent to the back of the line, buddy. Here, this is what it sounds like.
Shame. Shame. Shame.
Just kidding. It's just a loud beep. But talk about embarrassing. Wow. All right, coming up, we have some great tips like tracking mileage for your taxes, an unbelievable story about a girl and a predator in Arizona I got to tell you about, how to check out your doctor online. And of course, we just have the best callers in the history of talk radio. And then, of course, you got me. You don't want to miss that. Kim Commando says stay right where you are. Hey, you can enter to win a brand new iPhone 16 Pro right now with Apple Intelligence baked in. Just go to winfromkim.com and enter. No purchase required, by the way. That's winfromkim.com, winfromkim.com. All right, how about we start with Rebecca in Houston, Texas. Hi there, Rebecca.
Hi, Kim. Thanks for all the years of great tech tips, by the way.
Awesome. Well,
listen, I am a trial lawyer in Texas.
Wow.
And information contained in texts can win or lose a case at trial. But the problem is getting all these texts downloaded into one file document to be produced in discovery or used at trial. Right now, we have to screenshot each screen of text, overlap them to show continuity, and then put them all together into a PDF file. And it takes forever.
I bet.
If you can tell us how to download an entire string of text into one file to be saved on a computer and then produced when necessary, you'll be a hero to every lawyer I know.
Well, that's awesome. So what kind of things do you look for in text messages? I'm sure it runs the gamut, right?
Oh, yes. I mean, you never know what's going to be important, but, everything's done by text these days, whether it's business or personal stuff. And when a lawsuit develops, one side or the other is going to demand a copy of every written communication between person A and person B, and you have to produce it in written form. And texts are a pain in the patoot.
I like that patoot. Now, I'm just wondering, so if somebody deletes their text messages, but you are sitting there and you're saying like, gosh, I know that there's something else because this conversation just kind of jumps from one point to another. There's something in the middle that's missing. Do you guys have a way to go get that missing text message, like from maybe like the carrier?
Right now, not that I know of. If you know of a way, that would be fantastic. But my understanding is when somebody deletes a text, it's deleted. Although most of the time it's difficult to delete just one text, to show a gap like that. But what we need right now is people that have saved texts. They've still got them on their phone. Mm-hmm. We need a way to download them.
Oh, for sure. There's always two camps: Android, Apple, right?
Right.
And so let's just start with Apple. With Apple, most things that somebody puts on their iPhone, it's going to be backed up to iCloud. Okay. And really, there's no great solution for you to do this yourself. Like with screenshots, as you mentioned, it's so cumbersome. And then you're liable to miss something, and then you've got to get it at the right size. And then like you said, you got to put it in a PDF, and it just becomes a nightmare. For iPhones, there's a product called iExplorer. That's I and then Explorer. And that is a third-party tool that will go onto an account and then download all the text messages for you in a PDF or sometimes even in Excel format. It depends which one you want it. Now, if you're on Android, of course, iExplorer is not going to work because we have those two camps. That's where you want to use a program called SMS Explorer, which is pretty much the standard when we start looking at whether it's a Pixel phone, a Samsung, a Motorola, or whatever it may be. And the problem is, like, for example, on Google Play, if you just type in copy text messages or download text messages, there's like a slew of programs. But the ones that we have tested and we use here at the show is iExplorer on Apple or SMS Backup on Android.
SNS Backup.
SMS, just like a text message.
Right.
Then you'll be able to download those. And then, gosh, you'll just be like styling because you can go through that whole thing and you can search for certain keywords and then you can tie certain things to your briefs. And I am so impressed that you're a trial attorney. Some of my best friends are trial attorneys, and each one is wicked smart. Okay.
Well, you have to be have a little bit of snap, or you won't be very successful.
Yeah, no, for sure. I have a friend of mine who is a trial attorney, and he represented me in a case, and I was driving probably like, I don't know, 2 or 3 days after he and I were going through some of the points. And I said, I am just so upset that this person is doing this to me. And he said, you know what, you need to cast it off to the side. And I said, what do you mean? And he said, people will always try to target somebody if they think they can get money off of them. And
sure,
don't let this person's ugliness ever let you change your brightness. And I was like, you know what? He's right. Okay.
That's great advice. I tell my clients, look, it's my job to worry about this stuff now, not you.
Well, you know what? And that's true. And then, so we never went to trial. We went to arbitration. And the arbitrator was clearly in the other party's favor. Okay. Which is a whole nother issue. But we ended up, I think, settling for like $3,000 or some, number like that. And then,
wow, you got off cheap. You paid more to your attorney than that.
well, you know what? The reason why I bring that up is that he told me when we were all done and we were having like a glass of champagne and it was finally over and it was done and everything that this person wanted, it was thrown out. It was like 12 points. Everything was just all thrown out. And except for like this $3,000, I don't know, charge or whatever it was, is that when we were drinking our champagne, he said to me, you know what? Nobody's ever going to hurt you again. And I said, what do you mean? And he said, I am your attorney for life and I will never charge you.
Oh, wow.
And I said, He said, you're never going to charge. He said, I'm never going to charge you. Before you sign another contract, before you do anything, just send it to me in my office. Whether it's a parking violation or whatever it may can be, I am here with you at no charge because nobody should ever hurt you because you are so good. And and you know what? You know what his normal fee is? $999 an hour.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. The attorneys are expensive, no doubt about it.
They sure are. So we're going to give that a shot. iExplorer or SMS backup for Android. And then if for some reason that doesn't work, I'm sure it does. But if for some reason you're like, I just wish it would do this, just give me a call back or email me, whatever it may be, because I'm always here for you. Hey, by the way, if you need those names of those programs, just head over to the website, commando.com, and just search for saving text messages, and I'm sure that tip will pop right up for you. Hey, listen, I got to tell you, there's one word that if you ever see in a text message or you get in a phone call or a phishing email, and then if you see this word, I want you to go like, scam alert, scam alert, scam alert. Okay, you know what that one word is? Kindly. Kindly. See, in countries with British influence like Nigeria and India, that's a sign of being polite. So they use the word kindly. So if you ever see kindly, just hit that scam alert button because you're about ready to be taken. We have more coming up here on the Kim Commando Show. If you own a home, listen up. This is scary. The FBI is warning about a crime on the rise, home title theft. And it doesn't happen the way you might think. No break-ins, no stolen keys, just a forged signature on a single piece of paper filed with the county. In minutes, criminals can transfer the title out of your name, then use your ownership to drain your equity or even sell your home. The worst part, most people don't know what's happening until they get collection or foreclosure notices in the mail. That's why I trust Home Title Lock. When you visit HometitleLock.com/Kim, you'll get a free title history report and a 14-day free trial of their $1 million triple lock protection, including 24/7 monitoring of your home's title, urgent alerts to changes, and if fraud does happen. Their U.S.-based restoration team will work to restore your title, covering costs up to $1 million. Don't wait. Protect your home and equity today. Get your free 14-day trial at HometitleLock.com/Kim. That's HometitleLock.com/Kim. Hey, it's not too late to keep tracking your mileage for tax time. I know, it gets to be a bit of a hassle. And then later on, oh my gosh, if you have a tween in your family, I have an unbelievable story about a gal in Arizona that you are not going to want to miss. And before we get to that and your phone calls, let's talk about how to check out a doctor online. I mean, of course, you can take a look at the online reviews, which can totally be gamed. But what you want to do is verify, number one, your doc's credentials. Are they certified? How long have they been practicing? The American Board of Medical Specialties has an online database where you can check out if a doctor is board certified in their specialty. You want to go to this address, certificationmatters.org. That's certificationmatters.org. And then the second step is to check if your doctor has gotten into any type of legal trouble. You see, every state has a medical board that licenses and oversees medical professionals. So you can search for your doctor's name on the board's website to see their license status and disciplinary actions or any malpractice claims. Again, that first website that I mentioned is certificationmatters.org. And then just take a look at the medical board for your state and then just type in your doctor's name, and then that should pop up for you too. All right, let's see. Stephanie in Bend, Oregon, you're up next.
Hi, Kim. Thanks so much for taking my call. I really appreciate your show and just have to give a quick shout out to my mom who introduced me to your show.
Oh, great. And that's wonderful. And I thank your mom for telling you all about it. Hey, so what's going on?
Yeah, so I wanted to ask you a question today about like how someone would be able to kind of find me online when I'm using like a Google Voice number to sign up for things. The situation is that like I'm actually experiencing like a cyber stalking
No,
situation.
that's terrible.
Yeah, and so I'm just kind of trying to figure out how I can like better remain private because I thought I was doing all the right things by like using a Google Voice number and not my actual cell phone number, but that seems to have not averted the problem.
Well, tell me what's going on.
So I went on one date with a guy back in 2016, so many years ago, and we like met online, the kind of millennial dating situation. So we exchanged phone numbers to go on a date, and after the date, I was like, okay, this isn't really like for me. And then he started texting me, harassing me via text message. So I blocked his phone number. And then he's just been able to like find me on every like social messaging platform basically since then over the years. And like every year or so, he'll kind of come out of the woodworks and send harassing messages.
Okay, so wait, so you had one date in 2016 and 6 years? This guy is still after you?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, well, first of all, your radar was number one spot on 6 years ago. And I'm glad you never went on a second date with him. Good for you. All right.
Thanks.
So as you keep going on social, he keeps finding you?
Yeah, anytime, like I recently got on Signal and used a Google Voice number to sign up for Signal. And like 3 weeks ago, he messaged me on Signal and was, again, just like being really harassing. And it's just a very scary situation. I'm just not sure how he's able to keep finding me when I'm not even using my cell phone number.
Does he ever make threats?
He hasn't made any overt threats, which is like the tough thing legally with law enforcement. But given that how long this has been going on, like I don't know what he's capable of doing.
Yeah, that's the problem. Because there's definitely some, he's a loose cannon at this point, right? 6 years
Totally
doing this. And I would go down to the local police department and go down in person with as much evidence as I can find and say, I just want to file a police report just in case something does happen.
Yeah.
And I want to have it on the record. And
luckily I've been screenshotting all the messages.
Okay, which is fabulous. And but in the police department, there's normally somebody in the police department that is in charge of cyber crimes. And so that's the person that you want to talk to. Now, when we're talking about social media, are you using different names all throughout social media, different handles?
I do have different handles, and I don't use like my full name on any social media platforms.
Okay. Now let's talk about Signal, because you said something that was really interesting to me. And for everybody who doesn't know about Signal, it's an encrypted end-to-end messaging app. And that if you are truly wanting to have a conversation that nobody can get a hold of, that's a way to do it. Now, you said something that just very quickly is that you're using a Google Voice number with Signal. Is that what you said?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Now, I have two IT geniuses, John and Jeremy, and you sent me an email, and I was perplexed by it because I'm like, gosh, how is this really happening? And so John and Jeremy, they simulated your situation, okay?
Okay.
And let me tell you what they told me, okay, is that that Signal, even though you're using the Google Voice number, will use your actual phone number. Okay.
Okay.
Because Signal won't manage Google Voice numbers. And so basically, even though you're using the Google Voice number, Signal is using your cell phone number.
Oh, gosh.
And
okay.
So which could be a reason why this guy seems to be able to find you all the time. Okay.
Right.
So So because you've had the same cell phone number, I take it, right, for 6 years?
I do, yeah. I mean, people don't change cell phone numbers that often, I guess.
Yeah, you need a brand new cell phone number. And so what I don't want to happen is that you change your cell phone number and then this schmuck goes ahead and finds it online again. So
Right.
so let's make sure that we keep that private. Change your cell phone number, and I still, even though you changed your cell phone number, Stephanie, I still would go down to the police station and just tell them everything that's going on, just in case, so that at least there's some record of this happening. Stephanie, thank you for the call. I hope I helped you out today. All right, you're a freelancer, you're a business owner, you're on the road. So, what's the best way for you to track all your mileage so you can start deducting these dollars off of your taxes? Well, if you haven't been tracking your mileage all year, here's an insider secret. If you use Google Maps for work, it keeps a history of your travels. Just open the app, tap on your timeline, and then you're going to find past journeys based on your location history. So for specific dates of when you worked, you can see detailed routes and how long each trip actually took. Pin all of them to get an accurate reading of your miles. But I know that's a bit of a hassle. So that's why you want to look at apps like MileageWise or Stride. MileageWise is $10 a month, but it has a lot of features. Stride is actually free. All right, still to come, we have more of your phone calls as well as a story from Arizona I need to pass along to you guys and gals, so stay right where you are. All right, let's see. Mina in Wichita, Kansas. Glad to have you with us.
Hi, Kim. Thank you so much for taking my call. The question I have is, I am an iPhone user, and my husband has an Android. And I was wondering if you could tell me what your opinion is on Apple Pay and Google Pay.
Okay.
Do you think they're safe to use?
Where are you asking?
Well, I just hear a lot of people saying they use it, and then when I go shopping, I always see the little
yes, of course
thing, and it seems like it's becoming more and more common, and I just wasn't sure if it's safe to use, and should I be using that instead of my debit card?
Well, yeah, number one, you don't want to use your debit card because that's frightening anytime to me. Somebody can get that number and wipe you out. I use Apple Pay all the time. I love Apple Pay. It's so much easier. It's so much more convenient than having to carry a wallet with a credit card, which to me kind of seems archaic at this point. I have my driver's license as part of my Apple Wallet. I have my loyalty cards there, my United Airlines and Air France or wherever I'm going, frequent flyer number cards in there, Williams-Sonoma key card. I mean, everything is inside my Apple Wallet. And here's the reason why. Because instead of actually giving wherever you're paying your actual number, whether it's a credit card number or a debit card number, is that it's a one-time use number. It's only good for that particular transaction. And so what that means is that even if the establishment were to get hacked, they don't have your number because they have only that one-time use number that is thoroughly encrypted. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. And then plus you're using Face ID or Touch ID because you have for each transaction. Okay. And that's why if you ever look at a receipt from Apple Pay, you don't see a credit card number on that because it's not really being transmitted. It's a virtual account number, which is so that's the way that Apple works, and Google works the same way. Okay. So you have extra layers of protection that it's not your number. You have to use some type of biometric or a PIN number in order to even make that transaction. And so it's secure even when you're transmitting data over Wi-Fi or cellular too. So as far as is it safe? 1,000%. Well, watch everybody go get hacked right now just because I said that. let me find some wood. I'm knocking. You hear that? Yes. Stop. No hackers. No. Mina, thank you so much for your call today. Let's see. David in Knoxville, Tennessee. You're up next.
Hi, Kim. How are you?
Fantastic. What's going on?
Not much. First of all, it's such a pleasure to talk to you. I've been listening to you for years, and I never thought I'd get an opportunity to talk to you.
Oh.
I've got two stepsons, and they're constantly, they're on their Xboxes all weekend, and I'm constantly having to get on to them about screaming. And so I'm wondering, are there any devices on the market that I could hook up to those Xboxes that if they got above a certain decibel level that it would cut them off?
So how loud are they?
They gets pretty intense sometimes where they're screaming at their friends online. I'm sure you know how that is.
Oh, just when you were saying that, I was thinking there were times when I would hear my son on his Xbox screaming, and I thought like he was getting hurt or something. I'm like,
it's the same way.
Are you all right? I mean, all right. So these are your stepkids, and they're super loud.
Yes, ma'am.
What happens when you try to just tell them to simmer down? Doesn't work?
I'm sorry, it won't happen again. Of course, that just goes out the window. I even have through our router. I'll cut their internet off through the router by my phone.
Oh, ouch! That's a bad one. Okay, well, what you can do is they have these in classrooms, and it looks like a stoplight. We'll send you the link over to you so you can check it out. It's like a stoplight, and when the decibel level when it's green, the stoplight's green, it's like it's okay. When it's yellow, they're getting too loud. And
okay.
When it's red, that's when it's like, okay, you just need to simmer down. So what you can do is just put the stoplight right in their room, and then it gives them a visual. It's called a yacker tracker. I mean, I don't name it. I just talk about this stuff. But again, it goes just green, yellow, red, and it does it by decibel level that you set. Now, if you wanted to get really creative, and if you wanted to be kind of a geek of the week, is that there's a website called If Then There Else, or no, IFTTT. Okay. And this is a way for you to set up subroutines. And so by using, say, a smart home hub with a smart device, is that you could set up a routine if there was a sound sensor in the room that when it got above a certain decibel level, is that it would cut off the power to the router.
Oh, sweet.
But this is going to require some homework and some steps for you to figure all out. They also have something called a Raspberry Pi, which is a cheapo computer. It's about $30, and it's really made for these type of homegrown solutions. And so if maybe this is something you get the guys involved in, say, okay, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna build our own controller for your volume. But this is pretty typical because with the gaming headsets, they keep the volume up really high in their ears. Mm-hmm. And so they don't really realize who they're talking to or how loudly they are. But yeah, I do remember that when Ian was, in high school, that would just be like bellowing down the hall and it'd be like, oh my gosh, can you just keep it down just a little bit? So hang on the line. Amber, our lovely and talented screener today, among other things, is here on board. And so she's going to give you a link over to that Yacker tracker so you can take a look at it. And David, thank you for your call. Hey, I just want to remind you that if you're just too shy to come on a big time radio show and podcast, I love helping each and every one of you, but you have to ask me your question. So you have two ways to do this now. You can go to commando.com, and at the top of the page, there's a link that says Ask Kim. Just fill that out. Or number two is you could send me a voice memo, a voicemail, whatever you want to call it, by just recording it on your phone and then sending it to podcasts with an S, podcasts@commando.com. Once again, that's podcast with an S at commando.com. All right, still to come, a story from Arizona you don't want to miss, so stay here with me with the Kim Komando Show. Okay, this story happened in Phoenix, Arizona. A 37-year-old guy by the name of Isaiah Navarro spotted a 14-year-old girl headed home from school. He's a predator. He saw a target. He approached. He started a conversation. He asked for the girl's phone number, and then it didn't take long for him to start messaging her. And then the conversation quickly turned sexual. He asked for selfies. He said he wanted to do vile things to her. She was up for it, suggested they meet up, and he said yes. But what happened when he showed up at the meeting place? He was met by the police and placed in handcuffs. What? How did they know? Because he was not messaging a 14-year-old girl the girl was quickly thinking, and she gave out her mother's phone number and not her number. The guy's in jail being held on a $250,000 bond. Wow. Tell you something. Wackos. Hey, join over 500,000 folks and get my free newsletter at getkim.com.
Thanks for listening to The Kim Commando Show. Here's hour 2.
You know, when it came time for me to decide where to go to college, I really didn't have much of a choice because my parents are like, you are going to Arizona State University. And I'm like, are you going to visit often from New Jersey? And they're like, no, because they bought an investment home, well, in the outskirts of Phoenix, like in the boonies of Phoenix. So that's how I ended up at Arizona State University. But what made you pick your college? Okay. Was it because they had a great school of engineering, or was it affordable? Did you get a scholarship? The reason why I bring this up, super interesting to me. Teens today are choosing colleges based on how good they're going to look on social media. What? Yeah. They want a beautiful campus, great sororities, fraternities, lots of football games so that they can turn their whole life into posts and reels and shorts so that this way they could be an influencer and make up to $130,000 a year on average. That's on average. You know what? Actually making money as an influencer, it's a total long shot. It's like, being the star quarterback on a football team. But a lot of them are majoring in photography for the exposure. Oh, that one hurt even me. I hope you're ready, folks, because it's all about tech and making sure that you are tech ahead and never, ever left tech behind, because that's my job here as America's beloved digital goddess, Kim Commando. And you just tapped into an award-winning show, the biggest show, the best show, the most trusted show. You can find me on over 420 top stations across the United States. I'm streaming in your favorite radio app. And you can now get the Kim Commando Show as a podcast. That's right. Wherever you get your podcast, just search for Commando with a K. And a special shout out goes to all of our listeners on the American Forces Network Radio, serving more than 375,000 American servicemen and women. And just a reminder, great sponsors help to make this show possible. If you ever hear me talk about a particular product with a discount and a special web address, you don't need to worry about writing it down. Just head over to commando.com/sponsors. And our T-Mobile Unlimited listener line is now open at 1-888-825-5254. And T-Mobile's advanced 5G network now goes farther than ever before. You can learn more right now at T-Mobile.com/55. All righty, then every day I dive into at least 35 to 40 different sources to make sure that we're both up to date with what's going on in the consumer and tech space. And wow, here are the top 5 things you need to know. And we're going to start with Apple. If you're using an iPhone 15 Pro, 15 Pro Max, or any version of the iPhone 16, you can now get Apple's first artificial intelligence for free. Hey, my advice, by all means, you should go get it. But I wouldn't expect much. It's actually a little disappointing. In order to get Apple AI, you have to go into your phone settings and then request the AI be turned on. And then you're put on a wait list for, I don't know, maybe a day or so. I mean, this really should have been automatic. And then it doesn't come to you and say, hey, guess what? AI's here. No, you have to go back into your settings to see if AI was actually enabled. And then you have to walk through a whole bunch of different prompts. Now, Apple also released this past week an upgraded iMac with the M4 chip and AI, price starting at $1,300. The new MacBook Pro start at $1,600. And a new Mac Mini includes an M4 chip for, they say, improved performance and AI support. So basically, Apple Intelligence is here, and then they rolled out a whole bunch of new hardware for it, which means if you don't want the AI and you're looking for a deal on Apple stuff, now's the time for you to start shopping. Moving on to number 2, a number of media outlets are talking about Elon Musk, how he wants everyone to submit their medical X-rays, PET scans, MRIs to an AI chatbot by the name of Grok, to see if it can catch something that your doctor missed. Doesn't cost anything. Grok was actually built by one of Elon Musk's companies, xAI. And Musk is asking anyone to submit their medical images to let him also know if the chatbot got things right or wrong. Now, I think that Elon Musk is brilliant. He's probably the most inventive mind of the 21st century. And maybe one day Grok will actually turn out to be something. But as far as me or you uploading your medical images into some AI chatbot, bad idea. That's just a bad idea. You don't know what they're going to do with it. Okay. Who's going to be tracking it? Where does it go? No, thank you. Moving on to number 3. I talked about this before, that TikTok is just exploding with a lot of videos about a bank glitch at Chase that is letting people walk away with a lot of cash. And basically, here's how it works. You write yourself a check for a huge amount, you deposit it, then you go to the ATM, and you pull out the cash before the bank figures out what happens. Okay, easy money, totally illegal. You are stealing. It's called check kiting. Chase says they've had enough. We are clamping down on all the ATMs, and now we are arresting people. One guy in Houston who thought he just struck gold owes $300,000 after his deposit of a fake check. And he's not the only one. I'm talking about felony charges, fines, and a lot worse. Moving on to number 4, let's talk about the mouse. The mouse needs some money. Very soon, Disney is going to be rolling out AI to watch your moods. That's right, I said your moods. For years, Disney has always used focus groups to gauge customer satisfaction about the enjoyment, the rides, the food, not so much the drinks. But now, along with all the decorations that are just rolling out for the holidays, Disney has been installing elaborate AI surveillance cameras to see if you're smiling, if you're unhappy, if you're disgusted, if you're frustrated, or, if Daffy Duck comes up and you're like, oh man, just get away from me already. Okay. So it's supposed to be the happiest place on earth. So you might be wondering, is this a violation of my privacy? Nope. You are in a Disney park. And finally, this coming in at number 5, Astro, Amazon's little home robot. He would roll around my house, send me videos, take pictures. He would beatbox, and he would flash those little sad eyes at me. And, Barry would send him with a bottle of water over to me, or vice versa. Abby, the dog, would kind of like bark at it every once in a while. So when Amazon shut little Astro down and he went dark forever, I really did. I felt like I lost a little buddy. I was looking at him, in the laundry room. They were all dark in the corner. I was like, oh, poor little Astro. Well, as it turns out, having feelings for a robot isn't that weird. Researchers from the Netherlands study how people respond to robots that act hurt. They found that if a robot makes sad sounds or seems distressed, people actually avoid being rough with it. In one test, folks were asked to shake the robots, and they were silent. They made sad noises. Oh, please don't do that. And so anytime they made sad noises, people wouldn't do it again and again. And what's the sound that's made when a robot cries? What is that sound? Error 404, tears not found. Okay. All right, coming up, I have an alert about fake weight loss drugs online. Also, how your Wi-Fi can work in an emergency, how to have ChatGPT make you some art, some signs that you need a new phone, and just the best callers ever here on the Kim Komando Show. Just go here right now. winfromkim.com, and that's where you can enter to win a brand new iPhone 16 Pro with Apple Intelligence. No purchase required, by the way. That's winfromkim.com. All right, let's see. Jim in Sacramento, California. Hi there, Jim.
Well, first of all, I wanted to thank you over the years for all your good advice and newsletters and on the radio as well. I wanted to share with you one story. I took some of your information and shared it with my computer user clients. This one client called me and said, hey, will you come over and look at this computer? My husband allowed somebody to come in and control my computer or control his computer. And what happened was he was in the middle of this session with this guy. The guy wanted $500. It was a scam, basically. And the wife walks in and says, hey, what are you doing? And he says, oh, I let this person come in to my computer, fix my computer. And the wife says, stop, turn it all off. Don't do that. And then I got to come over there and clean up their computer a little bit,
Wow.
find the entry points and things. But I wanted to thank you because giving that information out to my clients was save them lots of trouble, lots of
Awesome.
money, over the years. So I just wanted to appreciate that.
Oh, thanks for your words. That's really sweet of you to tell me that. That makes my day, Jim. So what's going on now?
Well, I'm dealing with some of your newsletters is talking about cryptocurrency and different ways that different people have come along and scammed other people and that type of thing. And so I'm kind of in a quandary. One day I say this is real, another day I say it's not real. So this is the situation: is I was friended by a lady on Facebook, and she a very nice lady and this type of thing, and we're just talking about general things and stuff. And she said, "Hey, I have an aunt that's really good at cryptocurrency." I said, "Oh, okay." So I'm also reading your newsletter and saying, "Hey, watch out for this situation."
Right.
And she wanted to go get me on WhatsApp and that type of thing. And I did end up going online or with the app line. And so anyway, I was saying, okay, I'll throw 10K at it. And that type of thing. Is that going to be enough for your aunt to help with? And she says, well, I don't know. And so then my wife, I talked about these things with my wife. My wife says, wait a minute, our money, we're in retirement. We don't need to be gambling with money. Let's not do that. So, but I had already talked to the lady about the cause. It was for helping youth. And she ends up going and saying, well, I'll just give you $5,000 in your account. And so I said, okay. So I went through with the aunt, and with the $5,000 of her money, I'm playing with her money, not my money, and went through 3 iterations with the aunt. And now it's $500 per session, basically, I gained, and about 15% interest in a matter of 10 minutes time. So, I saw these things. It's not video. It's actually in my account. I could withdraw it at any moment. But my question is this real, or is this something that is set up just to lure people in and say, okay, now give me $20,000, give me $100,000, and then it somehow disappears, or that type thing?
Oh, Jim.
Yes.
Jim. Oh, I just want to come smack your wrist with a ruler. Okay.
Well, that's fine.
I mean, come on. You really think? Okay. First of all, some woman just doesn't friend you online because she's like, oh, I think I would like Jim to be my buddy. Okay. That's number one. Number two, we're going to go on to WhatsApp. Okay. Because, okay, there's not going to be any video calls. We have an aunt who's really good at crypto.
I mean, this is right down what you're telling me in the newsletter. That, wait a minute, this sounds awful familiar, but
okay, but you're falling for it. Oh my gosh, buddy, you're falling for it. What are you doing? Come on, you have to be smarter than this. Okay, what's happening in the background is that they are fabricating all of this just to show you. It could even be just a video that they play over and over for somebody so that it looks like they're doing all these trades. Okay.
Well, it isn't. Okay, so it's not. Okay, no, I'm just, I'm still playing with back and forth, but I'm saying I'm thinking that too. I mean, being in the computer industry for over 30 years, I understand that a lot of things are faked and that type of thing. But I'm saying this person is writing contracts. No, I don't know whether are you familiar with contracts of BitCurrency?
Yes, very much so.
Okay, so they're writing a contract supposedly for me. I am buying the contracts, paying $120 per contract, and I am watching in 10 minutes time or something my money go or make an income of maybe $500, $600 each time in a matter of 15 minutes.
Okay, let me tell you, I'm just going to cut to the chase. You can justify this to me all day long and tell me how great it's going to be. And I'm going to tell you right now, you are in the middle of a pig butchering scam. Okay. And what it is, it's a pig. You are the pig. You're getting greedy.
Right.
Okay. and you're seeing this and you're like, oh, wow, I just made this much. I just made this much. I just made this much. Okay, here, yes, okay. So then you go to your wife and go, okay, how about instead of 5,000, we're going to do 15,000 because look how much money I just made. And then you're going to make a little bit more. And go, okay, well, why don't we just give them $100,000? Let's just give them $100,000. Okay.
Right.
Before you know it, you're sitting at the craps table and you're going to have crap at the end because you're not going to have anything. And then you're going to be calling me saying, I should have listened to you, Kim Commando. I should have done this. I should have not given them the money. Everything was a big scam. Everything was set up. That account was all bogus. Everything is bogus. You got to be smarter than this, Jim. You got to be smarter, okay? You got to walk away. You got to get whatever money you can out right now and then unfriend this person, block this person, get out of WhatsApp. Oh my gosh. And you need to move on. You can't be a dope in life. And you know this, you've been in the computer industry, you said, for 30 years. You know how easy it is to fabricate things. Even Bitcoin contracts can be fabricated to make it look like whatever they're showing you is totally legit. It's not. I'm sorry to say that. You need to just walk away. You need to get whatever you can, shut it down, block the person, don't fall for it again. Because they're coming after you, because they're thinking you're a pig. You're smart. And you want to spend money, you want to throw money at something, throw it at that beautiful bride. Go take her to dinner. At least you'll get something back for your money, her warmth and her love and her appreciation. Thanks for your call. All right, so you might be wondering, like, when is it really the best time to buy a new phone? Like, let's say your battery life just takes a dump, okay? Or you're running out of storage space. Or if the phone is running slow, freezing, or it's crashing. Or you no longer get any updates. Or the phone's just damaged beyond repair. Time for a new phone, okay? Don't be so cheap. Just go buy a new phone already, okay? You can afford it. I know you can. All right, we have more of your phone calls coming up that you don't want to miss, as well as some tips, tricks, and secrets here on the Kim Commando Show. You know, something that you may not have thought of is that in an emergency, you can really tap into your Wi-Fi in various ways that maybe you never thought of before. So we're going to be talking about that. And of course, we have your phone calls. But before we do all that, let's talk about ChatGPT. It's pretty amazing. I mean, it can write stories, it can code, it can write emails and reports, it can analyze numbers. But I don't know if you've tried it yet to create art. So you go to ChatGPT and you have a prompt like, I would like an image of, and then you describe what you want to see in this image. And you want to really be specific, your colors, your feelings, what's happening, what time of day it is, and all the other details. So you can say something like, create an image of a cozy small coffee shop on a tree-lined street in Paris on a cool fall evening, and make sure that everybody's dressed appropriately. Okay. And then you'll start seeing maybe colorful umbrellas and maybe scenes of Paris, and you can ask it to put birds in the background, and maybe I want to see the Eiffel Tower in the background. So you just keep going on and on. Then it's just amazing. So ChatGPT is good for this, as well as, I don't know if you've tried this one, Meta.ai. Again, Meta.ai. Let's see, Connie in Boise, Idaho. Glad to have you with us.
Hi, thanks for taking my call.
Anytime.
I'm calling because my daughter and son-in-law are in the Air Force, and she has my one and only grandson right now, and he's almost 15 months old, and she's expecting another.
Wow.
In
good for
June.
her.
And they just moved to England 2 months ago from Minot, North Dakota, and well, I'm not going to be able to fly out there as often as I'd like, and I want to maintain a connection with my grandkids. And I was thinking, as a former librarian and technology teacher, I was thinking I could set up a YouTube channel, which I already have a YouTube channel, but I don't really do anything with it, and read books to my grandkids.
Oh, how fun.
But I was thinking about it. I was thinking, how am I going to do that? What's the best way to record it? Because I need to read the books, but I have to record myself. And then I can upload it to YouTube. And I'm wondering, is that the best thing to do? You know,
well, you know what, this, I think this is a great idea. And you can read them the book, right? By showing them the book and turning the pages and set up like a little corner so it looks like you're in a big comfy chair. And you've got great lighting in front of you, either by a ring light or natural light. And you're going to wear a lav mic so that this way the audio is nice and clear. You can use your phone, of course, if you've got a decent phone, and just put it on a tripod. And then as far as editing software, what's kind of cool is that YouTube has some editing software built in. Are you using what are you using, Google or Apple, or what are you using?
I have an Android phone, but I would be on Google is what I usually use.
That's fine. Okay. So there's something called Canva. It's been around for quite a while.
Yeah, Canva. I know about it.
Yeah. So Canva's really super easy to use. But no, I think it's a great idea. And then, you can get really kind of fun with the editing too, because, they have the attention span, that from having kids.
Yeah.
Of what do you think?
Yes.
10 seconds. Okay. So
Right.
So you want to make sure that, maybe it's like, okay, we're going to take a break, oh, you're back. I'm so glad that you're here. So just as if they were actually sitting there. But I think that would be really fabulous to put it on YouTube, and you can make it a private channel. So unless somebody knows the URL, nobody can have access to it.
Right. Yeah. And what's great now is my husband and I were in the military before, and we'd be all over the country. And now you have such great resources technology-wise to connect with them, FaceTime, WhatsApp, whatever. And we do the FaceTime. And when I call, and if my grandson isn't quite around, he hears my voice, so he'll come running to look on my daughter's phone or her iPad, and because he hears my voice.
How cute is that?
Whoa. Yeah.
That is so cute.
He can't really talk yet, but he's recognizing my voice. So I want to have that connection with them.
Oh, for
and
sure.
So this was my idea.
I think it's great. And you know how kids watch the same video over and over and over and over and over again.
Yes.
Oh, man, I can't tell you how many times I listened to Bob the Builder. I was like, enough of Bob the Builder. I'm done with Bob the Builder.
Right.
Okay. But no, I think it's fabulous.
Yeah. So I would just set up my phone on a tripod. I guess I'd have to look and see how to. They have those claw kind of tripods. I guess.
It's gosh, I can't think. It's like a pod, Joby pod or something like that, where you can move the 3 stands each way, any way that you want. But just about any tripod will do. And then what's nice is you can actually give the command. I don't want to say it out loud. SIRI, record a video. Right. So you don't have to reach over, although you can reach over. Might be kind of fun for you to send the same book to your grandson, so that this way he can follow along in England.
Right.
If you go to the version of Amazon.uk, that's where it becomes super easy for you to buy the same book, and then because you're going to buy it in the UK, and then it just gets shipped to the UK. So you're not buying in the United States and then they're shipping it to the UK. So you can save some money along the way. A lav mic, a clip-on is a good brand is Rode, RODE. And then as far as
RODE, okay.
And then as far as a ring light, you're going to want something that's about 18 inches, because that it's going to give you nice coverage around your face. What I was thinking of with the tripod, it's called Gorilla Pod. Joby, Joby, Gorilla Pod. It's super great. And again, just make it really fun, make it engaging. I think it's a fabulous idea. I really do. If any of you are listening and you've got family overseas or across the country and you can't seem to get to them, man, oh man, Connie, you just came up with a great one. And thank you for your service to our country. And also thank you for your family. Because as you know, anytime somebody's in the service, the whole family is. And again, we appreciate that. Let's go ahead and do our health tip, brought to you by buyoptimizers.com/Kim. All right, weight loss and diabetes drugs like Ozempic, they're just flying off the shelves. You probably know somebody who is on it, okay? But the reason why I bring this up is a cybersecurity firm by the name of BrandShield. They shut down over 250 sketchy websites that were selling dangerous, sometimes deadly Ozempic counterfeits, okay? TikTok influencers, they're saying, don't take Ozempic. You can take Oatzempic, which is a smoothie made of oats, water, and lime juice. They claim that you can lose up to 40 pounds. Okay, let me tell you, these TikTokers are just making money. There's a lot of websites that are trying to steal your money. So if you think you need to lose some weight, I want you to go to the doctor. Okay, even if just telehealth, if you don't want to go see somebody in person. I know it's kind of a pain in the neck, but let me tell you, if you don't have your health, you don't have anything at all. All right, still to come, we have more of your phone calls as well as how your Wi-Fi can help you in an emergency. You're on the Kim Komando Show. All right, Mitch in Atlanta, Georgia. Hi there, Mitch.
Hey, Kim, how are you?
Wonderful. What's going on?
Thanks for taking my call. I just wanted to tell you, first of all, I really enjoy your daily emails with all the tips on them, and I constantly copying and pasting those things into a note on my iPhone to refer to later, so they really come in handy for me.
Oh, well, thank you for your kind words. It's, as you can tell from reading it, it's a lot of work to put that out every day.
How does she do this? When does she get sleep?
I don't know. I have a great team. I do. I have a wonderful team who helps out. But the newsletter has been. Do you ever have one of like these pet projects in your life, and you're like, I don't want to give it up. I need to do this every day, and this is what the newsletter has become for me. Over the last month, we have. Let me do the math real quick. I think we've gained 57,000 new subscribers to the newsletter.
Wow.
Yeah. So
it's valuable. It really is. There's some neat tricks in there, especially with regards to security. Mm-hmm. To keep up to date on your security with my iPhone, and also even with Windows with the buttons to choose for the control windows and so on. To reach certain functions.
Yeah, just little shortcuts that it's like the type of things I like to pass along are the things that you would like see somebody do and you'd be like, whoa, what was that? Or it's like, oh, I could do that. That's so cool. So what's on your mind?
Exactly. Well, the subject I wanted to bring up hopefully is not too negative, but I live alone and I have a dog and I have some health problems, and what I'm concerned about is each night when I go to sleep, if I don't wake up in the morning, like I said, it's negative stuff, so forgive me for this, but if I don't wake up in the morning, the dog is trapped here.
Oh, yeah.
So I've heard stories. In fact, one that happened to a relative where that turned into a really bad situation.
For sure.
So I wanted to see if there was like a welfare
check mm-hmm.
app for me that I could depend on, with that still provides some sort of flexibility regarding how many times and methods they try to get in touch with me, before they reach out to my contact list, and something that's not very expensive.
So now, do you have heart issues?
Yes.
Okay. Now, do you have an Apple Watch?
I do. I don't use it, but I do have one.
Okay, because the Apple Watch has fall detection and also medical ID, and it will continuously monitor your heart rate. And if something's wrong, okay, we're not getting negative here, we're just being pragmatic, is that it can trigger an alert if it's severe, and then if you don't respond, it automatically calls 911. And so what you can do is that in the event that happens, is you can put up almost like a sign in your kitchen, print out something and put it in like a clear plastic frame and put it in your kitchen and say, if you're reading this and I'm gone, here's what I want to have happen with my fur baby.
I didn't think of I was thinking more in terms of if I was already gone, the dog would be rescued. But you're thinking more in terms of 911 right away.
Of course, because something happens to you. I'm concerned about you. I want to make sure that you get the help that you need. Okay.
I was concerned about my dog.
Okay, and you know what? And I'm concerned about the dog too. That's why I thought you could put a notification in a frame in the kitchen, where somebody's most likely to see it, or you're by your bedside or everything, to give instructions on what to do with the dog, a local rescue, a shelter to take in and take care of your dog. But what I want to do is make sure that you're okay. I mean, so you have the Apple Watch, and then you also have other things like care calls. They make daily check-in calls. You have Medical Guardian, Lifeline. They do those things too. Now, they're sometimes you can put additional instructions for your pet too. Like I said, with local rescues and trust. But what I think that would really be best for you is that you slap on that Apple Watch, you wear it, fill in all your medical ID information. If you don't know how to do that, get steps on the website, meaning like, your height, your weight, your blood type. These are the medications that you're on. These are your complications. And so that in the event that something were to happen, is that all this would be transmitted as well as your exact location to 911. And then when emergency services comes to your house, that's where you give specific instructions about your dog. I know it's not happy thought, but it's kind of the time we live in, that we have this great technology that will enable things just like this. Mitch, thanks for your call today. If you're sitting there right now and you're like, I have a question for you, Kim Commando. I want to know X, Y, or Z. Okay. Of course, you can just sit there and talk to yourself and hope that maybe an answer will just suddenly come to you, or you can actually speak with me. And we are making appointments just to do that. So you're not sitting there on hold anymore like you used to for 2 or 3 hours. So here's what you need to do. You go to commando.com. That's Komando, commando.com. And when you're there, there's a link at the top of the page that says Ask Kim. Okay. You click that link, you fill it all out, and then one of our show producers will call you back, and then we'll schedule time for us to chat. It's really simple. It's really easy. And you know that you're going to get advice that you can trust. You're not sitting there on Google or Bing or Yahoo or using some AI chatbot. You know that you can trust me. So go to commando.com, and at the top of the page, there's that link that says Ask Kim. All right, when we come back, we're going to talk about Wi-Fi and how it works in an emergency here on the Kim Commando Show. Okay, a storm hits. You don't have a cell phone signal anymore. Everything's going dark. You feel isolated, nobody to call for help. But then you're like, Wi-Fi. Here's the reason why I bring this up. Even if the cell phone towers are out, you may still be able to reach out to loved ones or emergency services by using your Wi-Fi. You see, your ISP has backup power for situations just like this. And what it means to you is that for a limited time, a small window, you could still access the internet even during a power outage. Your modem and your router need power, and that's why you need an external battery backup. If you don't have one, you're going to plug your modem, your router into one, and then they can stay powered even after everything else goes dark. You're wondering like, oh, which one should I buy? Just head over to commando.com and search for UPS. We just did a whole review not too long ago. But then you can use Wi-Fi based apps like FaceTime to send texts and make messages and iMessages and good things like that. Hey, be sure that you get my free newsletter. Sign up now at getkim.com.
Thank you for listening to the Kim Commando Show. Here's Hour 3.
We hear about this all the time. The government buying $10,000 toilets or something like that. Well, they do spend a lot of money, like $2 billion for a single B-2 stealth bomber, $400,000 per Tomahawk missile. But word on the street this past week, can you believe what the Air Force paid for soap dispensers on its C-17 aircraft? Okay, 8,000 times the cost. Why? Because no one was checking the invoices. Well, I guess they wanted to make sure that the planes were squeaky clean. Gosh, what a nightmare. I could never work for the government. That just would not happen in my life. I'm too triple A type personality. I'd be like, what's going on? How can we pay this much? How do we get a discount? Hey, get set, everyone. We're going to be diving into the world of tech, and you need to make sure that you are paying attention so that this way you are always tech ahead and never left tech behind, because that's my job sitting here as America's digital goddess. Kim Komando, of course, is my name. And you just tapped into the best show, the biggest show, the longest running show, the award-winning show about all things digital. And you can find me streaming in your favorite radio app. Just search for my last name, Komando. You can also find me on over 400 radio stations, by the way. And now you can get the Kim Komando Show as a podcast. Wherever you get your podcast, just search for Komando with a K, of course. And I'd like to say hello to all of our listeners in the Army, the Navy, the Air Force, and the Marine Corps, and the Coast Guard, and the Space Force who are joining us on the American Forces Network Radio. And of course, great sponsors help to make this show possible. If you're ever wondering, like, what's that special address? How do I get that discount? Head over to komando.com/sponsors. And I am here to help you, and that's why our T-Mobile Unlimited listener line is open at 1-888-825-5254. Alrighty, then every single day I drop by at least 35, sometimes 40 different sources to make sure that I know exactly what's going on. And here are the top 5 things you need to know about right now. We're going to start with Elon Musk. If you see him in a video ad anywhere on social, on YouTube, saying he's got this insider crypto investment opportunity, it's going to make you rich with a capital R, it's a scam, okay? One guy from Michigan, he did click on the ad. He set up an account and he transferred $700,000, 700 grand. Okay. After he handed over the money, he was like, "Oh, I don't know, maybe something's wrong with this." And then he goes on an investigation all over the web and he can't find any real contact info for the company. And that's when he went to his accountant who said, "You need to go to the FBI." Okay. These scams do sound and look real. Take a listen.
Hello, everyone. I'm here to tell you about the Neuralink crypto token, the new cryptocurrency that will change the world forever.
Okay. That was a deep fake. Okay. If you saw the video, you could see that it doesn't really exactly look like Elon Musk. But I guess if you really didn't know, you could probably fall for it. One person in Nevada saw a TikTok ad with Musk and lost $220,000. Another person in North Carolina lost $500,000. So don't fall for it, all right? You got to be smarter than that. Moving on to number 2, let's talk about Project Jarvis. What is that? Well, it's, they say, Google's new powerful Gemini AI, and it's set to handle actual tasks in your browser, like booking flights, ordering products, doing research, all based on your commands. But the reason why I'm bringing it up is that it's going to take frequent screenshots of what's on your screen to carry out the actions. So that means every single thing that you are doing on your computer with the browser open and Jarvis working is being sent right to Google. Okay. Definitely don't want to sign up for that. Moving on to number 3, let's talk about .com. You know what that stands for at the end of a URL? Okay, commercial, right? Okay. But what if you can't buy a domain with a .com? These little countries are just making so much money at it. Like Tuvalu is a small Pacific island nation. They lucked out. They got the .tv domain. Yeah, they're making it like $10 million a year by licensing that. Then there's Anguilla, whose .ai domain is just exploding. They're making up to $30 million a year. By the way, that's a small Caribbean island with like 15,000 people. Colombia saw similar success with .co. So the reason why I pass this along is that if you cannot buy a .com, you can always look at the other alternatives. And it used to be like, oh, well, that would never show up in a web search. Not so much anymore. Let's move on to number 4. A lot of people are thinking that the new iOS 18 is going to help people cheat in their marriage. What? Yes. iOS 18 has something called the hidden folder. It's a new lockable folder for all your apps, text, pics, videos, reminders, email, voicemails from specific people and numbers. Now, absolutely no one can get access to this treasure trove without your face to unlock it. Matter of fact, the entire folder can be hidden and no one will even know that it's there. So people are all up in arms over social media saying, oh, Apple is promoting infidelity. Okay. Apple says it offers peace of mind that private information cannot inadvertently be seen by others. Okay. Wow. If your marriage is resting what's on your spouse's phone, you need to see a marriage counselor. Okay. You got bigger issues than just a hidden folder. And let's go to Utah for this story coming in at number 5. Robert Brown's air conditioner broke. He called his home warranty company to have it fixed. Tech came out, got the AC running again, told Rob, just a temporary fix. You know what? You really need a permanent fix. You need a new air conditioner. So Rob called his home warranty company again, and this time spoke to another representative. Not a human. It was a chat bot. Rob said, hey, can I just get $3,000 to get this thing sorted out and I'll take care of it. I'll install it. And the chatbot said, of course, the money's on the way. So he waited and waited and waited until finally he didn't get the money, called the company back, and they said, that was a chatbot. Okay, not us. But meanwhile, he had done all the work. Okay. So he went to his state board and said, hey, you know, what's going on with this? Then the state board actually said, well, it's a chatbot and it is a representative of the company. So they need to be held to what the chatbot said. Word to the wise to any company who's using a chatbot. Let's see. Coming up, we have some apps that will pay you for your opinions, how to find hidden GPS trackers, how to get rid of duplicate photos. And of course, we have just the best callers ever. And you have me, Kim Komando. Go to winfromkim.com. That's where you can enter to win a brand new iPhone 16 Pro with Apple Intelligence. No purchase required. Once again, that's winfromkim.com. Hurry up. We're going to be giving that away soon. Winfromkim.com. Let's see. Eddie in Denver, Colorado. Hi, Eddie.
Hey, just have a question, but here's my little rant right at the beginning. Your top 5 things every day are the best piece of information I get every day, just to let you know.
You're sweet. Thank you.
So I'm noticing a lot on your shows about AI. Okay. I own a couple businesses. I own a huge bookstore, and we ship out all the time. And I noticed, by the way, when I was listing some books, that I had an option to use AI to describe, and I did it. This was just a couple days ago. I'd never seen that before. But
was it pretty accurate?
Yeah, it wasn't personal because that's what I like to do. I like to tell people this is a book we inspected, this is how many marks it has in it, and things like that. But it gave me a general kind of introduction of the book. I like to do a little more personable.
Yeah, see, it gives you a start. It's not the end all. It gives you just maybe a foundation to make you think and to work around it. I mean, is it a time saver? Yes, it's a time saver.
Oh, my goodness. Unbelievable. Yeah. Because I go by how many books I can put on in an hour. You know, I can do 50 or 60 books because I sell books online, okay? And that takes a lot of time to list. So I guess my question is, you talk about AI a lot, and even last night as I'm listening, it says download Ask AI, download Nova. And I'm like, what do I use? What am I going to use this for? I don't want to get left behind here, you know, on this as a business owner. And so I'm trying to figure out how to best to go forward, you know, with this AI idea.
Well, I think, you know, you're doing the right thing is you're trying it. If there's an option, let me see how this works. And let me see how I can make it better. And I don't know if there's the option for you when it was doing the book descriptions. If you were to say, these are the facts that I need to have you put in here. This is the angle that I would like, because AI is only as good really as the prompts that you give it. So, like, say for example, you go over to ChatGPT 4, okay, and you maybe grab the description of a book from another platform or from the publisher itself, and then you put that text into ChatGPT 4. But beforehand, you say, I want you to write a description about this book. I'm going to give, and just like you're talking to a person, I'm going to give you the text. And I need you to make it personal in these 3 ways. And then it will spit out you paste the description in there, and then it will spit out what it thinks that you want. And then you need to say, not like this, but better like this. And with ChatGPT 4, it's $20 a month. And what that $20 a month gives you is full access to everything that's on the internet. Okay, that's great. And images, that's great too. But what it allows you to do is to say, I'm Eddie, in Denver, Colorado, or whatever your name is, full last name. And then it allows you to generate a style. So you can say, write this in Eddie style. And so it knows already what type of style that it is. But you have to be very careful because sometimes it gets its facts wrong. I mean, yesterday it was telling me that the best-selling album of all time was an AC/DC album. I'm like, and I actually said, you're wrong. I think it's Thriller. And then it comes back like, oh, I'm sorry. You're right. I'm like, yes, I'm right. I was right. Okay. And it always apologizes. And you may notice too that when you're talking to AI, that if you can give it more details and also say please and thank you. I know that sounds really strange because you're talking to a chatbot, but if you say please and thank you, the quality of your responses are better.
Oh,
so
you're almost training it. You're almost training it to
get
used to you in some ways.
Yes, you really are. And then if there are things that you don't want it to save at the end, say, I want you to remove everything that you just wrote from your memory. And then it will remove it.
Do you use it every day? Do you use it somehow every day in your life nowadays?
I do.
You do, huh?
I do. Now, keep in mind, I can't have it write a Daily Mail feature or a USA Today feature or anything like that. But I can use it to say, I need a trivia question for my newsletter that will appeal to a 35 to 40-year-old person who is very familiar with technology or not so familiar with technology, or I want it to be about vinyl records or the fact that Microsoft Word was first released on October 25th, 25 years ago, or whatever it is. Okay.
Wow.
And so,
I see. That's very helpful right there. So I can I need a trivia question for whatever, and it's going to work with me.
Yeah, but you have to tell it, I want one true answer.
Okay.
And 3 fake answers. Because otherwise it comes up with these answers. You're like, where the heck did that come from? Because you're like, I know that answer. I know what that is. You could plug in your sales on your bookstore from last year versus this year. And the type of books that you sold last year versus this year. And then you could ask it if it could see any type of shopping patterns or trends. And, maybe since we don't miss out any sales, you could also say, I'm selling, this is my biggest book seller, or these are my top 3 books. What else can I be selling along that would be under $50 that would appeal to this audience?
Wow. Okay. See, that right there is so helpful because I'll look at everything. We sell thousands of books and Bibles, and I will look and say, okay, what should I emphasize on? What should I focus in on more? And that would be very helpful to know that information because I have all the metrics, but I'm telling you, it's overwhelming when you're doing it yourself.
It is. And so, so when you ask how am I using it? I use it, like I said, like a trivia question. I am using it because I'm building this newsletter business, which I am.
Okay.
Which is a whole big thing, whole big effort that I have because we went.
I heard you. Yeah.
So, which if you're not signed up, I'm telling everybody, go over to getkim.com because that's my
I'm signed up.
Excellent.
I'm signed up, young lady.
All right.
I'm there already.
Good.
Okay.
Good. All right. So I use it to analyze trends and I'll feed it the data on the newsletter because maybe I'm not seeing what I want to see because I'm biased. Okay.
Right.
I may use it. A friend of mine is pretty sick and I plugged in all the symptoms that he has. And
oh my goodness.
So and said, what are some other things that this person should be looking for? I mean, so it really what it does, what I'm using it for is instead of Googling something, I'm asking ChatGPT that question.
That's good right there. That's excellent. That helps me a lot right there.
Give it a shot. Really, it's really a life changer. But just remember everything that they say on the chatbots. It's not always 100% true. All right, if you want to get paid for your opinions, okay, number one, I'm going to tell you, you're not going to get rich doing this. You can make, I don't know, a couple of bucks a week if you answer a few surveys. But there are some legitimate ones to check out. Quick Thoughts, Inbox Dollars, and Swag Bucks. And in case you're wondering, what are the names again? Swag Bucks, Inbox Dollars, and again, Quick Thoughts. Just go ahead, head over to commando.com and search for Making Money with Surveys, and this free tip will pop right up. All right, still to come, we have more of your phone calls and some tips that you never want to miss here on the Kim Komando Show. All right, coming up in our security tip, we're going to talk about how you can find hidden GPS trackers. Then later on, so many duplicate photos. How do you get rid of them? I know the secret. I'm going to pass along to you here on the Kim Komando Show. And before we get to all that, aside from this show, I host an incredibly popular podcast called Kim Komando Today. We do it every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, youtube.com/Kim Komando. You can watch us do it. Of course, you can always get the audio version if you want that, wherever you get your podcasts. Again, it's called Kim Komando Today. It's different. I mean, I don't take calls. I interview some well-known folks in the industry. And you may be familiar with the name Andrew Babinski. He was my call screener for over 10 years, and he's one of my dearest friends. And Andrew pops in every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and we talk about what's going on in the tech world. Well, the other day we were talking about Ford's CEO and his love for Chinese electric vehicles. Take a listen.
Let me take you back 6 months ago.
Okay.
The CEO of Ford was talking to shareholders, and he said that Chinese electronic vehicles are an existential threat to the U.S. auto market because they're cheap, they are quality, and the batteries go forever, up to 500 miles on some of these cars.
And you should also mention that Ford's not doing a stellar job in the EV department. I mean,
is anybody really?
Well, I think Ford has probably the edge with the Ford 150 Lightning truck and some of their vehicles. But a lot of these companies, like GM, I mean, it was like with that, what was it, the Bolt or the Volt or whatever they had, it was costing them like $7,000 every time they sold a car. It was like ridiculous.
But now they're coming out with, electronic versions of their known brands. Like you said, the Ford F-150 has a full electronic version, which the only person I know who had one sold it within 10 months of having it because they're a truck driver. They drive truck for truck reasons, and an electronic truck doesn't do a lot of truck reasoning things, if that makes sense.
Like what?
Like hauling, going long distance, doing multiple projects in one day. It's just not the same with the electronic vehicle. When you haul something with an electronic truck, you have to go slower. You're forced to go slower when you add weight to it.
Yeah, that's true. And the battery's so heavy. That's why. Mm-hmm. I mean, I was on the list to get a Ford 150 Lightning truck. And I thought it was going to be so cool because this way I could have the truck and then I could go to construction sites and then I could run all my power tools right from the truck.
Yes, but you do so frequently.
And then I realized I never go to a construction site with my power tools.
The one cool thing about the F-150, though, is you can hook it up to your house, and if your power goes out, it acts as a, what's the word I'm looking for?
Backup battery.
Yeah, there's a word for it.
Generator.
Thank you. A generator for your home. So that's kind of cool. But so the Ford CEO comes out, says all the shareholders, we're in trouble because if we allow these Chinese electronic vehicles to enter the U.S. market, it's over for us. Now, fast forward 7 months later, he goes on a podcast. And guess what? He's been driving the electronic Chinese vehicle for the last 6 months. And his quote is, "I never want to give it up."
No.
Yes.
Really?
He loves it. He says the battery life is amazing. It's a great vehicle. It's the future. It's so affordable. He's sitting there doing a commercial for his competitor. They sell Fords in Asian countries. This is a direct competitor. Imagine if I came on this podcast and said, wow, I listened to this tech podcast yesterday and it was so good. I listened to it for 3 hours. I'm going to download it every single day.
Wow. Now, why? Boy, you know what? Either he's an idiot or there's let's talk about my favorite topic, money. There's something going on behind the scenes with money.
So I thought the same thing. I'm like, this guy's a CEO, probably makes like $100 million a year. He's no dummy. He wouldn't go on a podcast, a very popular auto podcast. I think it's called Full Throttled, if we want to give him the plug, and say this unless he and Ford are going to start to work with the U.S. government to get these vehicles over here, and they take a piece of the pie because he wants to take down Tesla.
Right. It's all about the money. But meanwhile, everybody in Washington is saying, we got TikTok, we got Temu, we got DJI drones, we got Chinese spy balloons. Okay. It's going to be a stretch, but you know what? That takes chutzpah. That does.
Well, you know what? You may have just put the pieces of the puzzle together, right? Well, what if you go to the U.S. government and say, hey, it's all the data that is connected to these cars will be controlled by Ford, an American company. That's a way in.
That is a way in.
That's really, what you just said makes a lot of sense.
I told you. You know what? It's my favorite topic, money. Love to talk about money. Love
but
that.
Elon Musk has said the same thing. If these Chinese electric vehicles are allowed in the U.S. because they're so cheap to produce, so they can sell them so cheap here in the U.S., is that they're done. Tesla's done. Toyota's done. Ford's done. Everyone's done. They'll just come in and take over the entire market share because they're going to be so affordable.
You know what? We should do a road trip.
Okay.
And we should go rent a Chinese electric car. We don't have to go far. I don't know. I'm sure there's some place we can get one.
Okay.
And we don't have to go far because, I don't have that type of attention span for like a big road trip. So we could go like from here to, I don't know, Scottsdale.
Peoria.
And back.
Yeah, Scottsdale, same thing.
Okay.
40 minutes round trip.
Yeah, exactly. And we should see how it really drives. I mean, and maybe even we should take a Waymo and like take the show on the road.
I don't think they're legal here in the United States. I think he has special permission to drive it here in the U.S.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, that even puts it on another level.
Yes.
It does.
Because he shipped it in from Shanghai to here after making those remarks to see like what the competitor is about, and now he loves it. But I think you're right. I think the pieces are coming together. This Ford is going to partner with them to get them here in the U.S.
And then we can control everything. And then the government gets all the data on everybody.
Right. But we're safe because it's an American company at the helm.
Yeah, I guess.
I mean, that's the optic. That's the argument.
Okay. I'm going to be looking at the Ford stock just to see what's going on. But let me tell you, you don't want to trust me for stock advice. I am still holding on to hope that GoPro is going to be doing something big someday. Hey,
if anything, you're proving you're loyal.
That's true. I am very loyal. Oh, my gosh. Now you can hear my entire chat on Kim Komando today, wherever you get your podcasts. Again, just search for Komando with a K. You can also watch everything that we do on youtube.com/Kim Komando. That's youtube.com/Kim Komando, which, by the way, if you're on YouTube, make sure that you subscribe to my channel because this way you get automatic alerts whenever we go live and when we post new shorts, reels, or whatever you want to call them on YouTube. Again, that's youtube.com/Kim Komando. All right, let's go ahead and do a really great security tip right now, and it's brought to us by Total AV. All right, I get this question a lot. How do I find a hidden GPS tracker in my car? Okay, because these AirTags, Tiles, or any other GPS tracker, I mean, they are so cheap and they are so small, it can be difficult to find them. So if you've got a crazy ex or just a gut feeling that something's off, here are some ways that you can find the GPS trackers. And we're going to talk about your car because it's a prime target. You need to give it a thorough check. You want to start at the outside, of course. Now, the easiest place for someone to attach a tracker without breaking in is the outside. So use a flashlight to look at the undercarriage where the trackers can be magnetically attached. You also want to look in the engine bay if you can, because that's where a lot of trackers are being placed, and then using Gorilla Tape, they're just kind of sticking them in the engine bay. Also look on the inside of the bumper. It has this hollow space that can house a small device. And if someone had access to the inside of your car, look under the dashboard where a tracker can actually be wired to the car's power source and hidden. Of course, if it's not an AirTag that's using a battery or anything like that. Also, don't forget to check deep into your car's seat cushions and side panels because those trackers can be easily left there too. Wow, I know, they're so small. They really are. And if you need more information about that, hit the website, komando.com, and just type in GPS tracker, And I'm sure we got a whole bunch of tips that are going to pop right up for you. All right, still to come, we're talking about the easy and fun way to get rid of duplicate photos on your phone. I know you're taking 4 or 5 pictures of your meal every single time, or of the dog or the kids, or you name it. And then, of course, we have more phone calls here on the Kim Komando Show. Let's see, Bill in Knoxville, Tennessee. So glad to have you on board with us. Hi there, Bill.
Hello, Kim. How are you?
Good. What's going on?
Well, it is an absolute pleasure to speak with you. I read your current newsletter on a daily basis and glean so many nuggets from it and share them with friends and family. But I have this one issue that I haven't been able to get past.
Okay.
The issue is that we've been, a group of high school friends of mine and I have banded together, and we run yearly reunions. Now, we do bigger reunions on every 5 or 10 years, but we run yearly reunions as well. And so the best way for us to keep up with folks, we determined a long time ago, was email, because we're putting it right in their box. Some people don't want to use social media, a website people would have to go to. So we want to send the email directly to the person.
Mm-hmm.
And we use it for other things, too, like a letter from home type thing. Obituaries, unfortunately, but we have almost 300 people that are on this list.
Awesome.
And I've used Outlook for years, but I found that Gmail and Google now are blocking and treating it as though it's spam.
Yeah, let me tell you something. They have really locked down the spam. I mean, they have,
Mm-hmm.
you get the newsletter. I mean, imagine if you're sending, 550,000 emails every single day. Okay.
Sure.
I mean, I can tell you that there are certain requirements, there are certain thresholds. Let me give you just an idea. If any, say, 1 or 2 people out of that 350 odd list that you have, if 1 or 2 or 3 of them marked your email as spam, you are now a spammer.
Interesting.
So what you have to do is, if you want to send email, you've got to do it a couple of ways. Okay. You can use a service like MailChimp, because they're going to make sure that you're going to get through. See, the problem is you getting through by using an Outlook account or a Gmail account. Now, what you could try, let me just back up. You could use MailChimp, Constant Contact, anything like that. Okay. And of course, there's a monthly fee for that, depending upon how many emails that you send out. But they're going to make sure that that email is responsive in whether they're on Android, they're on a Apple, an HP laptop, a MacBook, whatever it is. It's going to work and it's going to look good. But they're going to make sure that your email gets through the best way that it can.
Well, therein lies the issue, though. We looked at MailChimp, and there is a free version of that, but it is limiting how many emails you can send out a month. So if we determined that very quickly that we would be into their paid category, and while we've done a good job with fundraising and have a couple of grand in the bank,
Mm-hmm.
we determined that we would blow through that in less than 10 years if we use a paid service. I like free. I want bats to come out of my wallet when it comes to managing our class treasury.
Oh, for sure. You know what?
That's why we liked Outlook.
Yeah. I mean, and I love free too. But you have to be able to get around the walls. And these are protected walls right now. And the mail services know the protected walls. I mean, trust me, I wish that every time that we sent an email to Gmail that it was in somebody's inbox. But no, it gets thrown into the promotions folder. It gets thrown into the spam folder or Yahoo or AOL. I mean, sending email is a big part of my job every single day, as you might imagine. Now, so if you don't want to pay the $15 a month, because you said you want free, you can look at a Microsoft 365 for nonprofits. Okay. They have something called authenticated email as part of that. Now, you can say, well, I'm not a nonprofit. We're not a 501c, right? Okay, 3C. But they have a specialty category that you might want to take a look at, Bill. And you might actually be eligible for this, is that they have a category for alumni and associations. So take a look at Microsoft 365 for nonprofits. Okay. And like I said, they do have Microsoft's authenticated email. You may be small enough, an alumni association, it may fall under this. I'm not sure, but it's definitely worth a shot. You may want to see if maybe Constant Contact's a little bit cheaper. I don't think so. But otherwise, you really are kind of, you want to get your mail through to Gmail and get around all the walls. I mean, that's kind of the way that it is right now because they don't want to let everybody be a spammer. Bill, thanks for your call today. Attending a high school reunion is like visiting a museum, except all the exhibits are like aging in real time. Wow. Hey, if you ever have a question for me, I'd love to help you out. There are two ways to do this. Number one, you can go to commando.com, and up at the top of the page, there's a link that says Ask Kim, or you can send me a voice memo, really simple to do on your smartphone, and you want to send that to podcast with an S, podcasts@commando.com. That's podcasts@commando.com. All right, still to come is a problem that plagues so many of us. You have so many duplicate photos. What's the best way to get rid of them? Well, stay right where you are, and you're going to have that answer here on The Kim Komando Show. Why take one great photo when you can take 4? You can take 5. I know, I'm guilty of it too. It's just nutso. All right, let's start if you're working on a PC. With Windows, you want to get something called Duplicate Photo Cleaner. It will help you locate and delete all those similar photos. Now, if you're on Android, you're going to want to check out Remo Duplicate Photos Remover. It has some advanced algorithms that will get rid of the dupes and then free up storage space. Now, Google Photos, if you have your photos there, it has a built-in tool as well. And if you're on a Mac or you're on an iPhone, a lot of people don't realize this, that it automatically has a way to find the duplicate photos and videos in your photo library. And it does it really simply. Under Albums, you're going to find a folder called Duplicates. Yes, Duplicates. That's where they're all hanging out. And speaking of, don't forget to enter to win that iPhone 16. Go now, right now, to winfromkim.com.
Thanks for listening to The Kim Komando Show. Here's Hour 4.
Okay, see if you know this answer. What was the first major movie put out on DVD? Okay, what was it? Now, if you guess Twister, you're right. Can you guess the year? Okay, 1997. Yeah, it was one of the films that helped launch the DVD format. 27 years later, Twister is now the last DVD that Redbox just can't seem to let go of. I don't know if you know this, but Redbox parent company, they went under. And so now you have hundreds of thousands of DVDs. They were just liberated from these kiosks all over the country, except for Twisters. Like, what's going on? They can't get Twister out of these red boxes. All right, maybe it's a bug. Maybe it's a licensing issue. The top theory is that Twister's licensing likely expired ahead of the sequel. I know what you're thinking. Oh my gosh, what the hell? Yes, that's right. Hey, buckle up, Buttercup, because you are about ready to get more tech smarts, because every single thing is now a tech thing. And if you're not tech smart, you're going to be tech left behind in the dust. I'm Kim Komando, America's digital goddess, here with you once again. You just tapped into the biggest show. It's the best show, the most trusted show about all things digital. And you can find my award-winning show on over 420 top radio stations across the United States. And we're streaming in your favorite radio app. And you can also find us as a podcast in your favorite podcast player. Just search for my last name, Komando. And a big hello and salute goes out to all of our listeners on the American Forces Network Radio, reaching over 375,000 U.S. service members, serving in 175 countries and 200 ships at sea. Hey, just a reminder that great sponsors help to make this show possible. And if you're looking for those money-saving deals, the promo codes, and the special links, just head to one spot. That's commando.com/sponsors. And I know that you have a few questions for me, and that's why our T-Mobile Unlimited listener line is now open at 1-888-825-5254. Alrighty, then every single day I just dive into 35 or 45 different sources to make sure that we're up to date on what's going on in the tech world. And here are the top 5 things that you need to know that are happening right now. And we're going to start with artificial intelligence. I know the past 2 years have been quite a ride, but remember, AI's vast knowledge base was stolen. It was hijacked. It was plagiarized. You can use whatever phrase that you want. The bottom line, it was taken without the permission of the creators, and they've never received a dime for it. And yeah, they're fed up. I know I am too. AI knows absolutely nothing except whatever we've taught it or allowed it to learn. All the materials that it's learned from, I'm talking about countless books on law and medicine, philosophy, history, tech, mathematics, lectures, plays, movies, novels, art. The entire range of human knowledge was created by real people who have seen their hard work stolen from them. So now comes the questions. Who's going to compensate them? Who will they sue? How do we set right the largest theft in history? I bet you never thought about that. All right, moving on to number 2. If you ever find yourself in a lawsuit in need of an expert witness, here's why your expert should never use an AI chatbot. During a real estate lawsuit in New York, an expert witness was testifying about how much money his client should be paid for damages in a deal gone bad. The judge interrupted to ask exactly how the so-called expert arrived at his conclusions. Well, under oath, the embarrassed expert had no choice but to reveal that, he used Microsoft's Copilot AI chatbot. Then came the question, where did Copilot get its information? Most chatbots won't say because, as always, we talked about, the answers are stolen from copyrighted sources. So the lesson here is always verify any and all answers before AI will just embarrass you, because it will. All right, moving on to number 3, let's talk about influencers. There are at least a million reasons not to trust these so-called social media influencers. And this new one may even help influencers break the law. Many social media influencers are paid in some way for a positive review or to endorse a product. And not a problem if they tell you up front, but most don't. Well, enter a new type of, let's call it a credit card. It's black and gold, and it looks like the almost impossible to get American Express Black Card. But this card comes from something called the OTH network, short for On the House. So influencers will write good things about restaurants and stores and then use this card to trade the good publicity for expensive dinners and merchandise. So, of course, the deal. The Federal Trade Commission is very clear about this. When an influencer gets paid in any way to endorse a product, they should tell you. They have to tell you. Yeah, but influencers don't do that. All right, moving into number 4. Every few years, some tech writer falls for another flying car story. They believe that they're onto something new and that flying cars and taxis are almost here. Once in a while, a major publication is even going to print it, like the Washington Post. But let me tell you, these stories are just hogwash. Self-driving cars or taxis for commercial and private use are at least a decade away, maybe even longer. So all these glowing articles are aimed at these investors looking for a quick buck. They're not real. Okay, a flying car is technically possible, but it's just not feasible right now, not without a full set of FAA rules, and they're endless. You've got pilot requirements, airworthiness certificates. Even Waymos don't really work the right way yet. And government agencies, you know this, like the FAA, they move so incredibly slow. And finally, this, coming in at number 5. When's the last time that you argued with your husband, your wife, your partner, your roommate, your significant other? And did you win? Believe it or not, people are turning to ChatGPT as their personal argument sidekick. Here's how it works. Maybe you're fighting over dishes or laundry, or maybe they didn't take the trash out, whatever it is. The partner sneaks off, types your words into ChatGPT, and then comes back with, wow, just an incredible clapback. One guy on Reddit shared that every time he and his girlfriend argue, she sneaks away and she turns to ChatGPT. Then she comes back with this flawless AI-crafted breakdown of his words. Oh, and it's like she just wins every single time. He says he feels like he's being ambushed. And then chatbot supposedly called him insecure and emotionally immature. So, just remember that ChatGPT isn't exactly neutral. I mean, here are some things that you don't want to say. You don't even need AI. I mean, like, for example, I'm not arguing, I'm just explaining why I'm right. Okay, you don't want to say that. Or how about, let's not argue about who's right. Let's just argue that I am. Okay. How about this one? If I'm not back in 5 minutes, just wait a little longer. Wow. Yeah, definitely don't want to use those. All right, coming up, we have a cheap tech tool that will help you spot whether a used car has ever been in an accident. And a question, what's cheaper, Airbnb or hotel? I think the answer is going to shock you. And then later on, your family's secret code. It's really something that you need to start thinking about. And of course, we have just the best callers in the history of talk radio. And you have me, Kim Komando. Okay, here's where you need to go. Winfromkim.com. Winfromkim.com. That's where you can enter to win a brand new iPhone 16 with Apple Intelligence baked right into it. No purchase required. Go to winfromkim.com. Do it now while you're thinking about it. Winfromkim.com. All right, how about we start with all of our calls, and Oscar in Austin, Texas, you're up first.
I just want to say thank you for your many years of expertise. I really appreciate it. And this is the first time I'm calling, and I thought that you would be the right person to answer my question.
Well, tell me what's happening. And thank you.
Oh, yeah, sure. So there is a lot happening, but basically what it comes down to is that I'm calling on behalf of my daughter, and for the last 2 years, there's an individual that we happen to know who it is that has been impersonating my daughter, mostly using text. And she's reached out to numerous individuals, mostly friends, and there's different occurrences that have happened, but basically he will make up things. He'll have conversations, sometimes lengthy ones, sometimes daily ones. He's gone to the extent of actually, I would have to say, almost ruining her life.
It's awful.
And it is. And there's been at least 2 or 3 major incidents with that. So not only has she lost friends, or not only has friends started to look at her differently, but more important than that is that it's really impacting her mentally, because she just feels like she can't do anything without, this person really getting this information from her. And we do think that this individual, we're pretty sure that this individual happens to have my daughter's old MacBook. We're just puzzled as to how he's able to intercept text and read text. And even what we think he may even be monitoring her location through Find Me.
And you know what? If he has access to an older MacBook, and he has access to her, at that point he'll probably have access to her iCloud account. Yes. That would give him access to just about everything: her messages, her Find My, her mail, her contacts, her calendars, her reminders. I mean, think about everything on your iCloud account.
That's exactly what we're afraid of, and we do feel that has happened. He has gone to the length of, sending her friends information saying that she's pregnant when she's not pregnant.
Just a weirdo wacko.
Yeah, he's obsessed, and we have gone to the police. She just had a recent occurrence that has impacted her, and it's all been because of this cyber threat that she's facing. So really my question is okay, I don't feel comfortable that the police is going to have either the resources, time, effort to do this investigation. So I'm looking for someone who I can hire that could possibly get this information. Unfortunately, like with the MacBook, we don't have the serial number, unfortunately.
Oh, wait, but here's the deal. Is that your daughter still has, obviously, an iPhone, right?
Right.
Okay. And does she have a MacBook again? Another one?
Yes.
Okay.
She does.
So what you do is, and I can send you all this, is that you go into the iCloud settings and then you can review and you can toggle off any apps that she's not using. You can look at all the devices that are signed into her iCloud account and then boot them out.
Okay.
She could get rid of her whole iCloud account and start a new one. And then anything associated with that iCloud account would be gone. She can just remove that, delete that account. She can change the password, do two-factor authentication. At this point, I would try to sever every tie I could with that MacBook that's in this guy's possession.
Yeah, and I would say we're definitely late to the game. I understand in all of that, and we will still do that. But really more important now is that now we're at a point where we have to gather this evidence and present it to the police because we have to press charges. It's gotten that important. We had an incident where this was earlier this year where via texting that he was doing, he panicked my daughter's friend to the point where he made my daughter's friend feel like my daughter had just tried to commit suicide. And he texted saying, "I'm bleeding out." It was 2 a.m, Kim. We had police at our door. They ran through, make sure, and all because of the texting that he did. And they wouldn't believe us that it wasn't us. They almost hauled off my daughter.
Yeah, see, and that's the problem, Oscar, is that the police are overwhelmed right now. They are. They're just overwhelmed with these type of situations. You know, and let me tell you, there's pros and cons to this. Has he threatened her life, your daughter's life, or anybody else's life?
Has he?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
He has.
All right. Then we need to press charges. I'm just telling you that.
Right.
Because now we need to make sure that we preserve evidence. So, and we need to make sure we have documentation of everything along the way. Because if once you sever that iCloud, and then everything's just hasta la vista, baby. Now, we do have, I do have a friend of the show who can help you. I don't know how much he charges, but when we put you on hold, we're gonna tell you who it is because I don't want to give him just a free commercial, type of thing on a national radio show. And he does charge, but I will tell you that he is. If I were in a situation, I would call him. I would call him.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I'm going to call him as soon as I can. Actually, okay. I am at that point.
So I'm going to put you on hold, and then we're going to get your contact information. Then we'll loop back and give you. I'll tell you who it is. His name is Rico Danielson. He does great work. He really does. He was with the military, getting cell phone numbers of the Taliban, and then now he runs a cybersecurity company, and he's helped several of our listeners here of the show and viewers of the show on figuring out who a stalker actually is. Does he take every case? Nope. Can't. Just can't do it. There's not enough time in the day. But like I said, if I were in a predicament like this, I would definitely just reach out to Rico. So, Oscar, hang on the line. Make sure that we have all your contact information, and then we'll be sure to loop back with you, as I mentioned, and get you the information that you need to contact Rico. And do keep us posted, by the way. I always want to hear how these things end up. And if I can lend a hand again, Oscar, just give me a call. All right. If your iPhone is dead, is there anything you can do with it? Yeah, this is going to surprise you. First up, you can still make a transaction. If you have Apple Pay set up on your iPhone, you can still make purchases even if your phone is not on. You just hold your phone near the card reader and then boom, you're just good to go. Next on the list, emergency services. All mobile phones in the United States are required by law to be able to make emergency calls even if they're not activated or if they don't have a SIM card. You just hold down the side button, of course. And finally, Apple Find My. If other Apple devices are nearby, the Find My app can pinpoint the location of your lost iPhone. All right, stay right where you are. We have more of your phone calls coming up that you don't want to miss here on The Kim Komando Show. Okay, what's cheaper? Is it an Airbnb or is it a hotel? Okay, the answer I think is going to really surprise you. And then later on, it's something that I've done with my family to make sure that we're all tech smart and tech safe. And I'm going to be passing that along to you, so you don't want to miss that. And before we go back to all of your phone calls, you should know everything about a car before you buy it. But sellers don't make it easy to understand, right? I mean, you could get a report like a Carfax, but are all the problems really on that report? So that's why you need to check out what's called a paint thickness gauge or meter. So you see, when a driver gets into an accident and they need to fix the problem, they go to a body shop, of course. Then the technicians will fix the damage and smooth it out, and then what? Like spray it down. After they spray it down with paint, the car looks brand new. That's why you need to get something called a paint meter. It can detect the thickness of paint in microns, which is the automotive manufacturing industry standard form of measurement. So what you need to know is that 25.4 microns make up 1 mil. So here's how it works. You place the paint meter on top of the car, and you find a steel panel underneath the body. Now, your car will not have steel underneath every square inch of the fiberglass finish. Then what you do is you detect the micron or the mil level. Alrighty then, let's go back to your great phone calls with Nancy in beautiful Phoenix, Arizona, my hometown. Hi there, Nancy.
Hi, Kim. Thanks for taking my call.
You betcha.
I just purchased a refurbished iPad 9 for my 11-year-old grandson, who's afraid to fly. So he keeps busy on his mom's phone to detract him. Anyway, I'm wondering if you could give me some information on the proper way for me to set up this new iPad for him as far as for an 11-year-old, security-wise.
Sure.
And
before we talk about this, why is he afraid to fly?
Why? Oh, because he's 11 years old. He's flown a lot now.
Well, because, one of the things that they do, and, I'm in Phoenix, you're in Phoenix, and most airports do this, is they have a pretty comprehensive program to get people over a fear of flying. Meaning they show them airplanes, they have simulators, they talk to pilots, and to really get them over that hump so that this way that they're not afraid. I have a friend of mine who, he's now 40, and really up until the point where he was like 35, he did not want to get on a plane. I mean, how limiting is that? I mean, he would have to drive cross country. So I was telling him about this program at Sky Harbor, and he went through it, and now he's flying. Now you can't get him off a plane. It's like, what? So you just
how do you get hold of the information for that?
I would just call the public information office at Sky Harbor Airport and just say, I've got an 11-year-old that's afraid to fly. What kind of programs do you have at the airport where I can bring him down and have him meet a pilot and, talk to, some folks. Most of them are retired that work these programs, but hey, that's okay. It's all good because we got to get them over that. Now, as far as an 11-year-old with an iPad, there are so many great things that you can do. There's full parental controls that you can put on this iPad. So you can set screen time. You can set restrictions for TV shows, movies, apps, disable in-app purchases. We'll send you some links to this, as well as you have content restrictions too. So, of course, we don't want him to head over to any adult websites while he's doing this. Now, since he's going to be on a plane, and unless you want to pay, $15, $20 every time he gets on the plane to get Wi-Fi, is that you're going to be downloading shows for him to watch either from YouTube or Apple TV Plus, Netflix, Disney, you name it. And then you can also load it. You can also load it up with some educational apps too. Find out who his favorite characters are, and then see if there are any apps along the way. Like, of course, I'm sure he plays Minecraft and Roblox.
Nope, I don't think so.
He doesn't?
They are restricted from watching videos. They're trying to keep them away from that.
Oh, my gosh. Well,
yeah,
that's going to, you know what? Then then you're going to want more apps that will maybe not let them play games or watch videos as much as something that's going to spark some creativity.
Right. That'd be good.
So maybe some where he can draw and maybe some puzzle games. I mean, I don't know what he's into, so, but you could just search the App Store with that. But just setting up the basic parental controls is the place for you to start. And so what we'll do is I'll send you over some steps for at least to get you started. And then if you need any help afterwards, Nancy, I'm here for you. And again, check out that program at the airport. I bet you that's really going to help the little guy. And thanks for your call today. All right, let's talk about Airbnbs versus hotels. And this tip has been brought to us by Raycon. All right, when Airbnb and Vrbo first hit the scene, it was terrific. I mean, it was so much cheaper than staying at a hotel. But hotels are coming back. A UK-based consumer research group called Which compared the average price of thousands of hotels with 300,000 Airbnb and Vrbo listings. They also looked at 50 locations over a year to monitor these price trends. What they found, this is amazing, hotels were less expensive 75% of the time. Why? Because major U.S. cities are now placing more restrictions on Airbnb rentals, making it more difficult for property owners to turn a profit, and they're jacking up the rates. It's not just the U.S. The most significant price difference, like for example, is in Greece. So bottom line here is you want to check Airbnb and Vrbo, but you also want to check out to see if a hotel nearby is having an amazing deal. All right, still to come, your family secret code and more of your phone calls here on the Kim Komando Show. Let's see, Kimberly in Davenport, Iowa. Hi there.
Yeah, I listen to your show every weekend, and I thought, maybe you could help me with this issue I have with Facebook Marketplace. Apparently, I've been banned from it, and I understand why. But the problem was that everybody else seems to be able to sell walkers and wheelchairs and canes and things like that. But I tried too many times, and they banned me. And
so what do you mean? Wait, whoa, back up. Okay, you said other people are doing this and nothing's happening to them, but I do this and I got banned. Why do you think you got banned?
I don't know. I probably tried too many times, but I'd see other people. I mean, I bought some of these items off of Facebook Marketplace originally for my mom, and then I want to turn around and sell them, and they claim that like medical devices aren't something you can sell on there. But yet I took like 10 screenshots of wheelchairs and walkers, and for some reason they just wouldn't allow me. And then I think the more I did it, I probably was flagged or something. But I'd ask for a review.
That was probably it.
Yeah, I'd ask for a review, and they'd review it and say that, yep, you still broke our policy. So now you're banned, and I don't know, for how long or when, and I can't figure out any way to talk to them. I mean, I'm fine with not doing it, but I want to make sure they know that they're allowing a lot of that to happen anyways.
Yeah, that's unfortunate that we have a company like Facebook that we just can't get a hold of. There's nobody you can talk to.
Right.
I mean, imagine if this was the airline, any other company in any other industry. But for some reason, when we talk about internet companies, we just accept the fact that we can't talk to anybody. I don't understand that. But Facebook is changing. They have something called Verified, and we'll send you a link to it, that if you want to talk to somebody, you have to pay them. Okay.
Oh, my.
And it's under the guise of getting a verified account. So what you do is you sign up, you want your account verified, and then what comes with that is a tech support number that, again, as I mentioned, it's going to cost you $15 a month. If you don't want to do that, you can try to reach out to Facebook using their social media accounts, such as Twitter or Facebook Messenger. And that's where you can attach any information, and maybe you'll get somebody who's compassionate and who's reading your message, and they'll try to get back to you. Your other option is to use other sites, maybe eBay or Craigslist, or I don't know. Have you ever tried OfferUp?
Yeah, I have. I've had, even when I had access to Marketplace, sometimes I'd put it out on other sites too. And, that's just not, at least in my community, that doesn't seem to be, maybe as known. I've never really, I think I sold like one thing. So yeah, I've increased my use of that and nothing Craigslist, I was able to sell walkers and wheelchairs, but that's about it so far. So it seems like the marketplace really is a good thing for me.
Well, because you have a lot of people in your community that are hanging out in the same spot and with the same zip codes in the same areas, and so it makes it a lot easier to do that. You might want to try reaching out to Facebook social media, as I mentioned, or as I said, you can try to get that verified account. This way you can at least talk to somebody over there. Hang on the line. We're going to shoot you that link, and it's at meta.com. It's called Meta Verified in case you want to Google search that. And, you may try looking at some other ways that people are getting around Facebook's standard about not selling medical gear. And if they're doing it, I don't know how they can do it and you can't. So maybe you had some things in your ad that got flagged, or as you said, that you just tried way too many times. Kimberly, thank you so much for your call today. I appreciate you getting through. Let's see. We have some time. Jeff in Bozeman, Montana. Hi there, Jeff.
Hi, Kim. Thanks for taking my call. It's an honor to speak to you.
Well, thank you, Jeff. What's going on?
Well, I had a question. Actually, I was looking for an app or a program or something that would, where you could enter in, say, vitamins, dosages. I mean, maybe take a picture of the bottle or whatever. But I also would like to include medicines. So looking for interactions with supplements that would give you warnings, dosage warnings. So, I mean, just one place. I look and I see lots of reminder type apps, pill apps, like my parents take different pills throughout the day, 3 times a day, once a day, whatever. And it would really make it nice for them, but as well as really the vitamin piece, because I take a few things and it'll say, like, if you take a Lipitor, you're not supposed to eat grapefruit, just little simple things. It would be all in one spot.
Yeah. See, there's a lot of, that's where you'd come to like RX Drug or use a website for that. Right. I think there's a lot of liability if they were to put this in an app, and then it would, if you're taking this, you shouldn't take this, you shouldn't take that. There is something called MedSafe medication management, though. MediSafe is what it's called. It is an app that does give you drug interaction warnings. I'm not sure if it handles supplements, though. That's my question. I'd have to do a little bit of homework with this one, but you can try MediSafe. It's called MediSafe Medication Management. It does do the reminders like you talked about, and it's like a personal health journey, and that's what they call it. And they also have some drug interactions. But you're right. I mean, you do have to be careful with the supplements. That's why when you go to the doctor, they say, okay, you need to tell us every single thing that you're taking, up to and including cod liver oil. I mean, because, that's what I take. So that's why that came to mind. And CoQ10 or whatever else that may be on your plate. But you know what? Let me do some work on this because I'm not sure if it handles supplements, but I know that it does drugs.
So supplements, it's like wild west out there. They're not controlled, and
exactly.
They say it may do this, it may do that, which means it probably doesn't do that, or they'd say it does do it.
Well, yeah, and it's not controlled by the FDA, right?
Exactly.
And so that's why when you do buy supplements, you really have to make sure that you're buying them from a legit company, and you can't look at all the claims that they may be making as much as you just have to do your own research, which is what I do. Like, for example, I only buy supplements made by a company called Thorne, Thorne, because in my research, they are the ones that are making sure that that's what's in that pill is exactly what you're getting, because your body is a machine. And we want to make sure that we give it the best stuff around. But then the supplements, you do have to be careful, especially if you're taking some prescription drugs as well, that sometimes they can exasperate it. I mean, we all know this. But let me see if there's an actual app that will track prescriptions and supplements. I've never looked for one for myself, but it's an interesting question. Now, if any of you are listening, you're like, hey, Kim, I use this app to do this. make sure you just drop me a note. Head over to commando.com and hit that link that says email Kim. That's the best place for me to see it. I know so many folks, you're like, okay, leave it on social media, but you can do that. But I'm just like overwhelmed in life and all these different places and things that I have going on right now. So commando.com and then just hit email Kim. But again, we're looking for an app that does where you can put in your pharmaceutical drugs, you can put in your supplements, and then they'll give you big red flags if they are not supposed to be all taken together. And so we're going to add up all the prescription drugs, all the supplements, and then they're going to tell us what's bad with it. Jeff, thanks for your call today. As soon as we find out something, we'll let you know too. Hey, speaking of prescriptions, so that little tool that takes the outer shell off of a manufacturer's bottle, turning it from a child-proof cap to an easy open, you know what I call that? A decapitator. Oh, yeah, that was a great one. Hey, listen, you're ever too shy to come on a big-time radio show and podcast. I totally get that, but I still want to help you out. That's why you need to go to commando.com, and then there's a link at the top that says Ask Kim. Once again, that's commando.com with a K, and hit that link that says Ask Kim. I read every single note that you guys and gals send me over at commando.com. Again, that link at the top is Ask Kim. All right, still to come, what I've done with my family, and I think you need to do this too here on the Kim Komando Show. Okay, there's one simple thing that we can do as families to make sure that everybody's safe. With today's phones, I recommend that every family have a secret code just in case they're in trouble. Texting an emoji is inconspicuous and it's super fast. It's much better than, say, if you're in a situation where you're like, pick up your phone, you dial a number, and then you've got to talk to somebody. What you want to do is pick one that's easy to remember and something that you don't use often. Maybe it's a tree or an owl, or maybe it's a crescent moon. And also be sure that location services such as Find My on your iPhone is activated, and the same thing on an Android. What you want to do is then sit down and have a heart-to-heart with the kids and family members, not a quick chat, an in-depth talk, and always agree to use this special code if there's ever trouble. It's peace of mind for you, and it's safety for them. And just a reminder, I want you to make sure that you enter and win that brand new iPhone 16 right now. You want to go to winfromkim.com.